McGlynn with early goals. And as you can see, Enright still leads the way with 24 possessions. Jimmy Bartell possibly, though, the best player on the ground tonight, you'd have to say, despite the fact his side currently are behind, but it's starting to look better for them. Very shortly will go down. In fact, he's ready now. Brett Kirk, he's been listening into the Swans huddle. They looked a bit shaky in the back half in that term, Brett.
Yeah, they did, Dennis. And we've talked a lot tonight about the game style of the Swans, and I think that's where we're seeing the evolution from Paul Roos to John Longmire. They're no longer a hard one-on-one style footy where they keep possession. They play a hard press now, put a lot of pressure around the footy, and then they slingshot forward. And we're seeing that to great effect tonight with McGlynn and Jetta and these types getting on the end of it.
So, something of a concern, I would imagine, the fact that they've faded out against Essendon. And again tonight, the potential is there for it. What do you like from here, Tom?
Look, the Swans are certainly in the box seat, but I think the area of opportunity for Geelong is getting it long into Hawkins and Podsiadly. Hawkins hasn't kicked the ball well, but you look at contested marks, it's 19-6 in favour of the Cats. And as Lee, you touched on during the third quarter, they have finished games really well, winning 8 of their last quarters.
When the Swans have had a, last game they played, or the Essendon game when they had a bad last quarter, it's amazing how that gets in your sight.
Yeah.
And of course Geelong are confident, I think, that they can run the game out strongly because they've proved that the whole year.
Adam Good's on the bench there, and we've got Andreas Everett, the sub. Be interesting to see if the game gets tight, what they do with Adam Goods. I know he's coming back from a long layoff. Do you put him in the middle, inject him into the game? Questions for John Longmire.
Start of the final term, then Friday night football. A chilly night in Sydney. Awkward bounce. The ruckman chase it. Sending it forward west towards half forward. Juggling the mark is Shaw. Across half back. Plays on to Grundy. Grundy, a high ball. Took something off the kick. Roberts-Thompson favoured by the kick. Bounces free behind. Christensen, who's been a live wire, onto the leg of Roberts-Thompson, and the ball goes out of bounds. So midway through that third term, the Swans led by 36, but 6-goal leads have gone the way of the Drakmar, it seems. They're not what they used to be. I can remember when a 6-goal lead midway through the third term, you thought you're home and hose. Well, not in today's football. Goods got it from Bolton, smothered off the boot, spills to Kennedy. Jetta, 60 metres out, little short one inside the forward 50, runs free. Who's got the speed? Mackie has. First to the football, goes with the outside of the boot. Christensen, he's been everywhere. Or rather, Motlop it is this time.
Kicked their first goal a long time ago for Geelong. Mackie running hard. Hawkins the target. She played it well there though to Grundy. Down to Johnson. Chapman puts the pressure on him, and Johnson runs it to the line.
What I found the big Swan defenders are trying to do, they are trying to work their way to the front position, which is where sometimes the umpire can think they've actually impeded the Geelong forward in getting to that position.
How many goals do the Swans need to kick in this last quarter to be safe? 2-3, I wonder, but Geelong doubled their score in that third quarter. That's a brilliant kick coming from Kelly. And Josh Hunt, who we don't see too often have a set shot. We know he's got a lovely long leg.
Good stoppage win, but geez, again, the Swans forward has completely got out position there.
So just the one goal this season. Wouldn't have had many shots. He's only kicked 22 goals in 177 matches, but he's such a beautiful kick. And that is just what Geelong wanted, and this match is up for grabs.
Remarkable comeback. They're in now with a real shout. They're playing the better football. They're starting to win in some key categories amongst the numbers. And they're playing with confidence. They were bullied early. That was an expression we used by Sydney, but this really is something, bearing in mind Sydney got the opening 7 goals.
Well, here's the build-up to the last goal. James Kelly working on the outside with natural movement. We saw before the game midfield coach Stewie Dew with Jude Bolton warning the Swans midfield of exactly that. The smart play by James Kelly resulted in a goal.
Rucks go at it. West taps it down. We need a response now from Sydney. Jack trying to provide that, but he legged Corey. No free kick. O'Keefe taken down. Clever hands by Kennedy. Got it away to McVeigh. Kicks inside the forward 50. There he is again. Wonderful courage. Takes a bit of that to stand in front of a rampaging Adam Goods, despite the fact he's got a bit of ring rust tonight. On the 50, scramble, and there's going to be a ball up.
What do you do, Lee? What do you do with Jimmy Bartell now?
Well, I think the game is starting to slip a little bit. So I know they're trying to get Sam. Every time there's a stoppage, Sam Root is trying to get his body near to Bartell. So you just got to do that a bit better.
Kelly won the stoppage, but Sydney get the ball, and then Smith's bullied. So Geelong certainly the aggressor at the moment. Hawkins, brilliant handball. Motlop arches his back to go all the way here. Now Jetta's in pursuit. Motlop goes bang and misses. Jetta was closing.
I think the Bartell conundrum for the Swans is he needs to be manned up offensively, if you know what I mean.
In some ways, I don't know whether it's the big problem because there's so many inside 50s now going Geelong's way. I mean, it's been something like they got 15 to 8 in the... It's 20 to 8 in the third quarter. So I don't know whether it's the forward 50 that's the problem for the Swans at the moment. It's more up the field.
That late push by Jetta could have been come back to Motlop there. So Reid building the ball forward. Goods, and just hasn't had any impact at all. In fact, if it wasn't Goods, you'd probably sub him at the moment. I don't suggest they will, but he's really struggled. Christensen's kicked forward. He's been fantastic since he's come on, as Dennis has said, and a boundary throw-in. So
we see the inside 50s that have happened in the second and third quarter. So, while Bartell's and Mark Williams in the stand, but Bartell's been good, but the ball's been down the other end of the field.
Great smile. Always has had. Behind the pack, it's taken by McGlynn. Kicks it down towards half forward. Hangs a long time in the air. Scarlett did enough. Got the ball on the deck. That was his intention. Bartell looks up. Enright, strong hands. That was a brilliant mark. Goes across the ground. Mackey releases Duncan. Trying to wrong foot O'Keefe. It gets by him too easily. Hand passes forward. Joel Corey right on the 50. Comes back to Selwood. Tries to hack his way through. That's holding it. Very ambitious. Now it's not O'Keefe's ball to have. It'll come back to Jetta. So he can do it all, Jetta. That's a good tackle against a man that's hard to tackle. Ball towards half forward. Big leap by Goods. Runs free behind. Some hesitation from Mumford to go to the ball. Off the ground by Taylor. Well, lucky. Held out there with Jedski, no free kick. In goes Matner, knocked away by Bolton, lost by Shaw, taken there by Motlop, slips it across to Stokes. Stokes inside the 50. Hawkins, don't know that was necessary. His confidence is down. Chapman's is up. He kicks the goal.
Fantastic team goal. Not sure what Mumford was thinking about at half forward a moment ago. I think it's symptomatic of what the Swans are doing at the moment. They're second guessing. They're not playing instinctively. That was a fantastic goal. He's no one better than Chapman around the body. It's his bread and butter, isn't it? And right now, I reckon Geelong are favourites.
Adam Goods has just put the red jumper on. He's been subbed out of the game.
Well, it's probably not surprising in a way. I mean, a moment ago we contemplated. It's just one of those nights. The match winner sitting it out. Everett comes on. Brilliantly done by McGlynn. Matner, well, he couldn't take it. He just couldn't carry the ball. And Selwood pushes the ball forward. And if you're betting now, suddenly Geelong are probably favourite. That's a free kick, though, to Smith against Hawkins, and it should be 50. No, it's not. Gee, the old 50 doesn't happen this often, does it? Probably a good thing in a way because it's such a penalty, but players now can feign the fact that they don't really know what's going on.
So as long as you don't go and dispose of the ball on that field, you can bring it back.
Last 20 minutes, there's 4 goals, 2-2 behinds. And Geelong has certainly been the proactive team at the moment.
Lee, I take your point. I don't want to harp on the Jimmy Bartell factor, but they might not be getting as many inside 50s. And I think there's a bit of visual pressure that he's applying at the moment. I'd be putting an offensive player on him like a Ben McGlynn.
I think McVeigh's going forward as we speak to do exactly that role.
Boundary throw in. Everett just on the ground. Slips a hand pass away to Armstrong. Wonderful tackle by Kelly. Got him down. A heap at left half forward.
There's got to be some doubt in the Sydney players' minds after their fade out against Essendon a couple of weeks ago. So they've got to keep playing instinctively and keep moving this ball forward. They can't be static.
Well, they're pretty static at the moment. 11 points the difference. Can they rally? Rally from in front. It sounds odd. Ball is taken by Corey. Corey goes down towards half forward. Podsiadly could have almost got a free kick. Surging forward, Chapman. Bacon goal square. It runs on and on and on. The ball barracks for Geelong. Look at that. From about 30 metres out, he got a very true roll.
Paul Chapman. Just a long roll of the dice, so to speak. That ball could have rolled anywhere, but funnily enough, it never looked like missing in the end. I mean, it was the funny old ball was just going straight towards the goal.
Well, if you watched the golf the other week, last weekend, I mean, Olympic didn't give you that sort of roll, did it? It was pretty tricky.
Well, can the Geelong legend get any
started
bigger?
From the clearance, but some of the Geelong players who just looked a little bit off the pace of the game early are now running their way right into it.
It's a very clever kick by Chapman too. He kicked it softly, actually, and the ball, as Dennis said, Barrack for Geelong, it just obeyed Chappie. Clever kick out of the centre. Shaw, Everett, can he impose himself? So a very big decision to take goods from the ground. Everett's kick inside the 50. Reed jumped very hard and high. Taylor, handball back. Bartel's been the master. Enright not far behind him. That ball doesn't get out too hard. Everett had to probably keep it in. Sydney needs somebody to do something. That ball's not out. Flicked out the back. Mumford, who's stopped to a crawl, I reckon. He's really blowing hard, the big mummy. And Taylor Hunt in there. Who's got it? It'll be a baller.
Yeah, if he's a horse, you'd say Mumford needs a lot of work, Bruce. What do you think?
No, he's short of a run, isn't he?
West is dominating the hit-outs as well, 7-2 at the moment.
Well, he's got spring in his step as opposed to Mumford. Mumford wants body on body here. Coming over the top, Corey sensing the problem, thumps it out wide. Bird a half chance. In goes Kelly. The pack collapsed. Down goes Stokes. Bird's got it. Confronted there by Duncan. Spills to Corey. Little look away hand pass. Christensen. He's been hot since coming onto the ground. Goes down towards half forward. He was cramped for room and the mark is taken by Shaw. Well, I suppose if you're a sub, you don't want to be sort of ticked off as a super sub, but then again you want to play well. It's a tricky situation, Tom.
Well, I think you're spot on, Dennis, and the substitution here for Christensen and Simpson really does highlight how you can use it strategically and tactically to your advantage.
What if you typecast as a sub?
The super sub.
The super sub, you don't want that.
No, you probably don't want that. No, I don't think Christensen's got that just yet. You could play till you're 40 if you're the super sub. You only play a quarter of a game.
Yeah, but not like Christensen. Ball comes behind the pack. Hanbury gives a hand pass off. Matner on the deck. Picked up there by Jack. Somehow advances the ball. Thumped away from behind by Scarlett. Roving the pack is Lonigan. High ball to the wing. Motlop. Still Motlop. He's over the footy. He'll be elusive now. Gets it where he likes it. His natural habitat on the deck. Goes short. Lunging mark. Not paid to Hawkins. Too hard with the thump to Stokes. And the ball goes across the line.
The Swans could have ejected their sub too early here. Shane Mumford looks in a bit of trouble. His back looks sore. He looks very ginger at the moment.
Geelong within a kick. Mumford down to Kelly. Kelly's been one of the instigators in the last quarter. Podsiadly, Grundy belts it away, not far. Duncan, well done, Armstrong. Wojcinski with pace on the left foot. Not a good kick. And Grundy, not sure why he's waiting for that to run out of play. He really could have taken a mark there, Grundy. That ball was markable, and now there's a stoppage close to Geelong's goal. What a remarkable turnaround. They haven't been this close since the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Selwood barging through, left footing the ball. Which way would that go? Out on the full. So some respite for Sydney, who just don't look like scoring at the moment. They're stuck on 10-6 and Geelong are on 9-7, and the stakes are really high here. Hard to see the Cats making top 4 if they lose a match like this with a very tough draw they've got in front of them for the rest of the season. And for Sydney to make top 4, these are the games you just have to win at home.
McGlynn hard against the boundary line around the corner, but Enright in the road. Did he go? Apparently not. Now it'll be 50. Oh, my goodness. Well, he feigned a kick.
I think he was off. That's a pretty tough call on the Sydney player.
Wow.
Yes, I think that's when we all think 50 metres is far too big a penalty for whatever that offence was.
Gee whiz. When you think back to Goods in the previous quarter, Enright was moving off the line, no question about that. Hasn't kicked a goal this season. Now he has, and believe it or not, do you? The Cats are in front. Oh, this is remarkable. What a comeback. All seem lost. There's a powwow, but I'm not sure that'll solve the problem. They have collapsed in defence in their last 2 games, the Swans.
It's interesting. They've been almost a bit timid the way they've played, I reckon, Sydney, since they've had this lead. I don't mean not going in for the ball. It's a very, very, very
He's
harsh
trying to get to the mark. Umpire says you've gone over it by 6 inches or something.
Well, but Enright was off, wasn't he, off the line?
Yep.
Anyway, it's a goal to Enright. So Enright and Josh Hunt get goals in this last quarter. You wouldn't have bet on that. Chapman's got a couple, and Geelong are in front. Shaw has been pretty good, and he was trying to marshal the troops a moment ago. It's hard to see how Sydney can get back now. It's ridiculous. I know there's only a kick in it. It's a point in it, but they have...
Well, the first half, Bruce, we spent...
They have been timid in the way they've played, haven't they? They haven't taken chances. They haven't been instinctive, Sydney. They've waited. They've been reactive, and Geelong have just bullied them here and continue to win clearances and push the ball forward. And that ball eluding everyone in the boundary throw-in.
In the first half, we just have a look at the infringement here. Sam Reid comes up. Corey Enright's off the line. That shouldn't have been 50-metre penalty.
I wouldn't have thought he's over the mark anyway. I mean, the umpire hadn't called play on, you can't go over the mark, but it didn't even look like he'd done that.
Look, it was a hard decision, but that's not the Swans' problem at the moment. Their problem is getting the ball forward.
Well, we spent a lot. There's Shane Mumford there with the crook back. That's a real loss for the Swans, but we're really applauding the Swans' outside run, but they just haven't been able to inject any of that so far.
Podsiadly up high, loose ball in the square. Back goes Grundy and forces the ball across. I think they're appealing for a throw. It couldn't be, he wasn't under pressure. There are about 3 Geelong players carrying him. Coming out of defence then Shaw. Have they got the poise? This is Armstrong. Armstrong off a step to Kennedy. Great call by Kirky earlier too. Talking about the bad back at the very next boundary throw in. Mumford took an eternity to get up.
They tend to be going wide now when they do go forward, the Swans, and then they kick it long into their forward 50, and the Geelong defence, particularly in the air, is completely on top.
Bird, the famous number 14, kicks it down towards half forward. They could do with Skilton and Kelly, the pair of them. Right now, McVeigh to Jack. Jack, long ball. He's got the goal from long range. The heart is still ticking in these Swans.
Oh, he's cramped.
What a finish. Just got the right bend, didn't he? And just going to have to try and run that out. So a couple of second-half goals for Kieran Jack. And Sydney get their first goal in a long, long time.
Slow, patient build-up here. This is a great draw handball to give the ball to Jack, and has kicked a great goal. What the Swans need to do now is play courageous footy. That's not head over the ball stuff, because that's a given, but courageous with their ball use.
37 minutes between goals. Jack has kicked both those goals in that time, and suddenly they're back in front and getting the ball forward. Hunt, Bird got down low. Taylor's tackle was good, and it's going to be a ball up.
We've been assured it's definitely cramped for Kieran Jack. It's not a hamstring strain.
Well, that's good news. So both Jack and McVeigh, who were involved in the last goal, quickly went to the interchange, but Jack was hobbling when he went there. Swans would love to get some breathing space here. They've had plenty of breathing space all night. Kelly's kicked back. Johnson quickly onto it. He's had a subdued night, Johnson.
Off interchange.
So Josh Hunt will wheel around onto the left, and he's got a few options, but that's not a good kick. He's blazed, and Richards takes an easy mark. Gee, that's a waste, isn't it?
You were about to say un-Australian then, Dennis.
I think Josh Hunt knew it was. He just gave it back.
So that's very Australian.
Very Australian.
So Richards off a step. Pike, good mark. Clunked it well. He's done that a couple of times tonight.
Well, that courage Kirk is talking about is to have a look inside as well. It might not be on, but if the centre square's open, the Swans tend to be just very much attacking right around the boundary, very slowly.
Pike, that's Mike Pike, a work in progress, kicks it up beyond the wing. Kelly goes after it, misses Chapman. Now it's 3-on-2 down there. Coming wide, O'Keefe, taken by Armstrong, running back down there, Kennedy, coming across on the angle and doing very nicely in defence. Christensen gets it back, hammers the ball forward, had got it from Selwood, then he found Scarlett. Scarlett goes across the ground. Well, moments ago it was the Cats under pressure. Now Mackey's got the ball, breaking for him is Lonigan. Lonigan's got it right on the wing, looks towards half forward, sold himself into trouble. That wasn't good. Goes back, Mackey. Presence of mind to look up, but he kicks to a contest, but the representation from Geelong in that contest, pretty good. Stevie J, there he is, the old J curve. You wondered what it was. That's it. He kicks it down towards the pocket, and the mark is taken in front by Hawkins. Well, how about this? He spotted Stevie do it. He goes around and he kicks it. I'm sure it's patented.
One thing he didn't want to do, Hawkins, was have a set shot for goal, because he has not been able to kick one tonight, and I think he's got real problems with those in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. But gee, I tell you what, he can take a good mark inside 50. Nobody takes more marks inside 50 this season than Tom Hawkins.
But it underscores just how wasteful that is if he can't kick the goals. I mean, you can't have him kicking those all the time.
The great build-up there again from Stephen Johnson, and then the contested marks. That's 24-8 now in Geelong's favour, just demonstrating the aerial dominance that they've displayed all over the ground, and appropriate salute.
Good tap by Pike. Geelong back in front. Hawkins with 1 goal, 3 on the ball at the moment.
And Hawkins has obviously gone into the centre bounce as the backup ruckman. Looked like he's going to run forward, and I think Harry Taylor might be just going to do the round-the-ground duties from this point onwards.
And the salute and second black armband from Tom Hawkins is for his grandfather.
So Pike wins the tap. Gee, Armstrong was held on to it. And then Geelong in hard.
That's right.
There's Christensen and also O'Keefe. What a record Chris Scott's got. He's won 29 out of 36 as a coach.
Plug it clear if we can.
Bolton down low. Mackey's tackle was good. That ball not out. So Bolton, that ball still not out, but a Swans player.
He's making a genuine attempt. Paul's holding it in.
So there's the explanation. So
It's a massive discrepancy in contested marks, isn't it? They've been very good in the air, Geelong in the forward line.
West won the tap. Bolton was scragged around the neck. Well played by Taylor to Duncan. Duncan out wide, converging from everywhere. Richards got a really important touch, but then overran it. Hunt's handball, clever. Wojcinski should have got a free kick, held on to. Back to Christensen, banging the ball forward. Every foray forward now so important. It's not quite the next goal wins, but you feel like it's getting closer and closer.
Some of those Swans players look almost spent. Johnson tracking that ball, Grundy earlier, not a good sign. Boundary throw in, Pike over the top, knocks it down. Bolton trying to find his way out of there. O'Keefe feeds it back. Johnson hooks it towards the outer side. Lonigan trying to stifle the bounce. It goes out of bounds. Well, still, the line is hard to get on Geelong, Tom.
It is. I mean, all the momentum's there, and I think the avenue for the Geelong Cats to win the game is just get the ball long into your tall forwards. They're outmarking the Sydney defenders at the moment, and the momentum's with them.
Christensen went to ground, that Armstrong is tackled, but it seems almost as if they need a challenge, doesn't it? Or is that my imagination? Something to whet their appetite. They know they're good.
I don't think they intentionally give away stuff.
Sometimes I think the speed has to go off the game before they can work. They can play at their best. That might be the issue.
That might be it. Oh, the voice of reason. There goes Bird, or was it Smith? It was Smith who kicked it inside the forward 50. Scarlett came to the footy. Bartell trying to align himself to the ball. Couldn't get straight at it. Well done by Lonergan. Bartell weaves his way through like a snake in water. Kicks it up towards the wing, and it's going to be a free kick to Motlop. Well, we're down to 5 minutes. If Geelong get a goal here, it's hard to imagine Sydney can do enough to get back. Motlop just takes something off this ball, just pops it across to Podsiadly, who's forward of the wing.
So Podsiadly, defensive kick to the pocket. Chapman runs it over the boundary line, and Geelong pretty happy with that result.
Need to find a release man here. Jude Bolton sitting up on the defensive side of the stoppage.
Good handball by Smith back to O'Keefe. Roberts Thompson has had a quiet night. Lonergan belting back. Richards quick off the mark. He's done that for a lot of years now. Banging the ball back. Still plenty of time. Not sure how many goals are left in this game. Sydney have only kicked 4 goals since the 23-minute mark of the opening quarter. And that long handball by Enright. Not sure how far it got into play, actually, down the line. And the umpire's giving it the benefit of the doubt and saying it went all the way down the line and throws it in about 30 metres from where he handballed. Fantastic comeback here by Geelong. Well done, Jack. McVeigh got it from McGlynn. Off a step to half forward. Big fly in the front, Everett. And then Scarlett wanting the boundary line, or Johnson. And then Johnson back to Bartell. And Bartell's kick fortuitously to
Bartell and Selwood. Yeah, they've been good.
And Selwood opening it up. West, now Taylor Hunt.
Taylor Hunt, 70 metres out, kicks for space. Actually, that favours Richards, who backed himself against the ball. Had he missed that, it could have been good night. He didn't. Wonderful mark, particularly at this stage of the game. He plays on to Shaw. Shaw goes out wide to Grundy. Grundy goes around the outer side. Will it stay in for the Swans? No. Mackner beaten by the football across the boundary.
That passage of play summed up the differences between the first half and second half for the Swans. Firstly, the lack of real genuine speed on the spread, and secondly, the execution of the skill.
Pike hooks it down, offhand, spills behind, kick forward by Jack, down towards half forward. Opportunity for Mumford, stood up in the tackle, comes to Hanbury, across to O'Keefe, long ball down towards full forward, nobody home. Scarlett gets back, takes the timely mark. Lonergan runs for him. No one near him. Corey is on. Ditto for him. 30 metres behind him in his wake is O'Keefe. Corey decides to hold up. Now this next kick could almost be game determining. Just over 3 minutes to go. Needs a target. Oh, good fist away by Grundy, out of bounds.
It's almost the time they want Lewis Jetta to get the ball in hand and break a line, don't they?
Haven't seen him for a while, have we? They haven't. That spread they had earlier just disappeared as the game's gone on.
Kennedy slow. He does get it away. Bolton, Hanbury probably could have run a little bit with it. Lewis Thompson held on to surely.
You mentioned Lewis Jetta. Geelong have identified Lewis Jetta as the potential match winner for the Swans and have put their primary stopper, Taylor Hunt, onto him.
So it was Pike who got the free kick. And Pike with a very careful kick to full forward. Oh, big fly. Not paid to Bird. Reed's handball over the back. Scarlett and Enright. And also McGlynn and a ball up.
Had a good run at it here, Bird. Got himself in unfamiliar territory, really.
Swans have got a spare player in the centre corridor, about 40 metres to the right of this contest. That's the kind. You need someone to pull out into place, space away from the congestion.
It's Alex Johnson, but Hunt, can he clear it? The race is on. He got a good bounce there, Podsiadly. Such an important ball here. Can he hold up? It's a great tackle, bringing him down. Gee, that was big. They were in on then, Geelong. Ball still comes out the back. McVeigh, clever. Good tackle by Taylor Hunt on that man in Jetta. Still, Wojcinski can't quite get clear. Smith brought down. Now Jetta, can he break a line? Swings the handball out wide. The kick by Grundy to half forward.
Well inside the 50 and Everett. The sub takes the mark. 40 metres out from goal. The kick from about 45. Pretty sharp angle, only about 10 metres in from the line. 2 points the difference. Just over a minute and a half remaining. Well, what a contest. Friday night is delivered again.
Johnson put it into him. He held his space and he eventually got it after about 30 seconds.
What an important kick. Everett, his second of the night. He's working it back brilliantly. Oh, what a kick. What temperament. He's put it through, and the margin is 4 points for the Swans.
Well, sometimes you've got to do something to really belong at a club.
Yep.
And Everett's just done that something. Not sure how the game finishes up, but he needed to make a big play at some stage. Second season at the Swans, he's just made it.
Well, at the first time they've looked like taking a contested mark in their forward 50.
And the space was there, Lee, and I think the build-up was good. Jetta's been involved in the last 90 seconds or so, got the ball out to another young player in Johnson, and the kick favoured and a good contested mark.
How defensive do they go here this
Well,
time?
again, they've got a minute and a bit to go. They're not really they're putting an extra guy back, but that's only probably matching the Geelong spare who's now being pushed forward.
Well, it's been a remarkable last quarter, an incredible match. We talked about that 2005 second semi-final with Nick Davis' heroics. This is not that tonight, but this last quarter has been something. Sydney get the ball forward. Everett swings it. Can Jetta get back to it? This could be dangerous if he gets a run. Normally good with the ball in hand. And Everett, well.
Well, that's what happens when you save a win. You put all your numbers back and opens up the forward 50.
Sub for Adam Goods, came on, kicks the ball high to full forward. McVeigh, the kick by Kennedy. Oh! And that is a behind, which gives Geelong a really good chance to set up now.
You prefer out of bounce than a behind.
Yep. A goal to win. Geelong guaranteed possession of the footy, at least initially. Hanbury had it knocked away. Wojcinski getting a hand in there was Grundy. Could have been tackled high, no free kick. The umpire letting them play. Clock stops at 18.
Have a look at this.
Just a hand in. Game of inches, isn't it?
I'll say he was gone, and he's quick. So how about this? They're flooding back. There's how many Sydney players in the defensive 50 spare? Well, just the one.
Just the one. It's one-on-one. Marty Mattner's a player who's loose, who makes good defensive decisions.
Yeah, they were changing personnel. Players did come out as players flooded back after the bounce. Opportunity for Bolton. Hand passes across to Reid. This will consume some time. Ball bounces down towards full forward. We're down to 4 seconds. Sydney are going to hang on. Sydney will get a late goal. Hit the post, doesn't matter. The Sydney Swans get home in a thriller on Friday night. What else do you expect?